just going off of you discussing, what a functional vegan group would be, like,
Yeah.
I know you've mentioned on more than one occasion starting something in Canada,
Yeah.
right? Like, what would you have in mind exactly? I mean, the problem, I guess,
Yeah.
geographically, right away, we have an issue there.
Yeah.
Like, I know you really enjoy Margaret Mod Vegan.
Yeah.
Like, I know
Yeah.
you speak very highly of her. Well, she's in
Right.
Calgary.
Yeah.
That. So that's my first,
Right.
I guess, concern, right? Like, how would you, like, what are you picturing, I guess?
Well, it's a few years in the future, but you, me, and Mod Vegan could be the founding members because I think really a big part of the common ground that me and Mod Vegan have, and then I think it's also common ground that you and I have, is the interest in the education system, in school boards, in lobbying school boards. And you can kind of do the same work, like so-called public education and outreach. I think a lot of that is going to be the same work that goes into trying to educate the schools, is trying to influence the school system itself. So I think educational policy, and it's also really positive for fundraising. Like I already have this experience now. I did this children's book, and I can do more. I can do more children's books. I can do a whole series. It can be like Curious George. We can have a 20-book series, all indirectly vegan propaganda for children. But that's something really positive to do fundraising for. And I'll say this, I would not feel ethical doing fundraising, saying, hey, donate money to us. We're going to go like throw rocks at the park warden because he shoots deer. And that's the kind of shit that goes on in Canada. People who are so hysterical about the deer cull that they want to go and like fight the cops who are killing deer. You're like, there's an emotional level on which I can relate, blah, blah, blah. But every fucking day, my boss at work wears leather shoes and has a leather purse. So who will be the first to throw stones? It's such bullshit to me. But on the financial level and the accountability to your donors, I would feel totally positive asking for donations and taking your money and spending it when I can say to you, this year we published this book. This year, we published this pamphlet and we went, like, let's say in this year, we went to 6 Board of Education meetings where we presented this case. And I feel what you build the case on is basically saying, look, you must exclude propaganda from the meat and dairy industry for the same reasons you must exclude the cigarette industry. Like, it's not acceptable to teach children that eggs are healthy and they should eat an egg every day because the egg board is donating money for the same reasons that it's not acceptable for the cigarette board. So part of that's just negative. Like, we're not trying to force you to have pro-vegan propaganda. We just want to limit it. I think, I just say I would feel totally comfortable and confident asking your grandmother to donate money, you know what I mean, any person for that cause, and I can show you that we did it. I can show you the outcomes. Whether it's, again, publishing the children's story books or just, hey, we went to the board meeting, and this is what we presented to the school board. And you can go to a lot. You can go to a lot of school board meetings in a year, to make that case. So I think in Canada, I think that education is really the positive thing I can see building on in the next 10 years. I have a kid, so I have a bias that way. Mod Vegan has, I think, 2 kids. So that's also, people are into that long term. And I think that gives you a mission and mandate where you're also maybe, you kind of discipline your group where you say, look, this is not about throwing stones at the slaughterhouse. You know what I mean? It's everyone involved. It's clear as soon as you sign up. This is what we're doing. This is the kind of professionalism. This is the sort of long-term, vision. So yeah, within Canada, that's what I'd do. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, obviously, I like that. That's what I wanted to do anyways, right? Work on the Board of Education. So I'm on board with that.
Right.
I guess, just even you talking about funding,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about my own city here in Ontario. Like any vegan ever donates to, it's just the local farm sanctuary, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yes, that's not bad, but what's this really accomplishing, right? Is this really the best thing we can be putting our dollars towards? And I find even I don't know, the extent of the activism that the animal rights group not affiliated with the university does is just going to the local slaughterhouse and holding a vigil for the chickens, so that the chickens can feel some love before they die for the first time in their life. And not to get poetic, but I think honestly, like, if the chickens are feeling anything from you, I think the only thing the chickens are feeling towards you, I guess I should say, is hatred, you know? Like, I don't think those chickens look at you and are feeling the love. Like,
Yeah, I know.
it's just frustrating to me that this is all, like, I don't want to take away from these people's experiences, right? I realize this is an emotional subject
That's right.
and like a sensitive subject, but I just, surely we could be doing something better.
I mean, like a lot of that stuff, it's dead ended, but it does have an emotional purpose to the people involved, and I don't want to like piss on that emotional purpose. Like, I think there's a question: to what extent is our activism for vegans to make us feel better about ourselves, to build up our self-esteem as vegans? And I don't mean that as an insult. Like, I think there's a sense in which somebody can be really timorous and go to a pig save and then leave that pig save feeling, you know what, veganism is really important in my life. I have a sense of moral purpose. It can build your self-esteem as a vegan. And I'm not joking, you know what I mean? Where because you've attended a vigil at a pig slaughterhouse or chicken slaughterhouse, where, you have that emotional connection with the other vegans there, with witnessing the suffering of the animals, where that motivates you. Okay, but that's ultimately dead end. That's vegans doing something to make vegans feel better, And the example of the educational materials, whether it's my storybook or lobbying the Board of Ed or trying to influence government policy and that stuff, that's not for us. That's really for the future. That's for the future of the movement. That's for the people who are not vegan yet. That's exactly what it's for, right? I mean, that's to influence the people who are pre-vegan or who have never heard of it. So no, I think there's something to be said for both. But again, if it's my time and my money, and I'm asking you for your money, that's where I would take it. Yeah, where I really believe in having outcomes, real world outcomes. Yeah.